Hey everyone, it's Mark David Heiser from Day Did You Win? And with races obviously still not being back in full force, there are some local small races that are happening right now, obviously. But the bigger marathons and such, they are not happening right now. So what I want to do today, since today is Monday, typically we call that Medal Monday for us runners, is I want to go over some past medals that I've won. Some that I've really not even vlogged about because I did these races well before I started doing any of this on YouTube and did videos and such. And I got this idea actually from another Big Brave pro, Jeremy. I will link his comment, or not his comment, I'm sorry, his video channel down below. He is on YouTube as well. I'm not gonna lie, I got this idea from him. I asked him if it'd be all right if I kind of used it as well. He was great. He was very nice and just said, go for it. Don't even worry about it. But I wanted to pass that on to you guys as well. Jeremy has a great channel going on. He does a lot of product reviews, does a lot of race reviews and such. So go check him out. Link will be down in the description. All right, so the medal I want to talk about today, it actually comes from I believe it would be my 5th marathon. To give you a little history of my marathon running from the past, the first 2 marathons I actually ran were at what we call the NAI track meet. NAI, it's a division of college sports. Think of it like NCAA, except for just smaller schools. And so I went to an NAI school. I went to Bethel College. Now it's known as Bethel University. And all you had to do for that was run a half marathon qualifying time. You could do a marathon, but the half marathon standard, I'll admit, it was a whole lot easier than the marathon standard. I believe the marathon standard was somewhere around 250. Half marathon standard, to get an automatic qualifying time, was a 115. I think to get the B standard, it was 117 and a half. And there were some ways that you can get in with that B standard, which is how I actually got in. Anyways, I ran 2 other marathons after that, both of them in South Bend, Indiana, called the Sunburst Race. They actually no longer offer the marathon. It really was not a really good event. Running a marathon in the beginning of June in northern Indiana with humidity, it's not a smart idea. So that race is no longer happening, but my 5th marathon and truly probably my 2nd attempt at a Boston qualifier was the 2013 Monumental Marathon. Whoops, I spun that around. Obviously, as you can tell, this medal, it is a spinner. This was, I believe this was the 5th annual, possibly. I don't remember for sure, but I believe this was the 5th annual Monumental Marathon in the state of Indiana. You can see there, that is the Capitol building. And right here, that is the War Memorial Monument. It is in right in the center of Indianapolis. There's actually a big roundabout that goes around that monument in downtown Indy. So the story behind this marathon, this was probably my true 2nd attempt at a Boston qualifying time. And I'll be honest, this is the one I really thought, of my 2 attempts, this is the one I had the best shot. One, it was a November race. The other one was back in Sunburst, so in June. And things just didn't go well at Sunburst. I overheated. I was doing well up until about mile 20, and then things just fell apart for me. With this race, with Monumental Marathon down in Indianapolis, it was what really got me to love the Monumental Marathon. You started right by the Capitol building, and at that time, you actually finished running right towards the monument, or not the monument, at the Capitol building. You ran right towards it. It was a beautiful finish. They don't do that anymore. I think it's because the race has just gotten so big that they can't handle it anymore. That many people in that small of an area, and so they changed the course some, but the city of Indianapolis, what they do well is big events. This is why you see Indianapolis with Final Fours, and they've had the Super Bowl. They are going to be having the Big Ten football championships. They've hosted the Big Ten tournament in basketball several times. They're going to be hosting the NCAA, or not NCAA, I'm sorry, the college football national championship game here in the next, I believe it's next year. I'm not 100% on that, but I know it's coming up. But Indianapolis does big events very well, and they are very welcoming to runners. And so this was my first time running Monumental. I have not, since the 2013 Monumental Marathon, I have not missed a Monumental Marathon. Obviously, this year it's canceled because of the COVID-19 outbreak, but they welcome runners better than any city I've been to. Maybe outside of Boston. Boston's probably does it just a little bit better, but even better in Chicago for the Chicago Marathon. Indianapolis just does a great job. They host other big running events such as the Indy Mini Half Marathon, which is ran the first weekend of May. They've always done a really good job with that as well. But they know how to welcome in people from outside of Indianapolis into their city. The course, it runs past all the historical monuments in Indianapolis, all the war memorials, and also it runs through Butler University. It runs past Lucas Oil Stadium. You get a glimpse of Bankers Life Fieldhouse, which is where the Indiana Pacers play. You see all that along the course. And then also you go through some of the best neighborhoods in Indianapolis. It is just a beautiful course. And if you think about it, beginning of November, depending on when the leaves start turning colors and everything, you get beautiful orange and brown leaves on the trees, and it's picture perfect. And I'll tell you what also about this race is that it is cooler temperatures typically. You can maybe get temperatures in the high 30s at the beginning, maybe even low 40s. It maybe gets up to 50 by the end of the race typically. And so it is just one of those perfect races, perfect times of the year. It is a flat course. It is a fast course. Now, like I said, this was my first true attempt at a Boston Marathon qualifying time, and I didn't make it. I ran something like, at that time I needed like a 3:05. I think I ran somewhere around a 3:07 for this race. So I was really close. Like it fell apart for me in the last couple miles as it did in Sunburst, but I made it a whole lot closer at Monumental than what I did at Sunburst earlier in that year. And you know, this was probably the only Monumental Marathon where I didn't really know any other runners there. And so I ran this one completely by myself. Obviously there are other runners out there, but I didn't have anybody else out there running with me. About every other Monumental Marathon, I've had people from Northern Indiana who were driving down, who were very close to my abilities. And so I was able to pace them. So for this race though, I did a lot of the work on my own, and you know, I'm proud of that race. I didn't make it. I did not make my goal. I did not get my Boston qualifying time. But I'll tell you what, this was probably the one I worked hardest for all those, because once again, I did a lot of the work on my own. So close. It's one of those things, you know, it's like, you know, I never buy the race photos, but for whatever reason, I decided to buy my race photos from this race. And I think it was actually more of just a reminder of how close I was, just how disappointed I was at that finish line when I crossed it. And, you know, it's one of those races I won't forget. And I hang on to all my medals, but that's what I remember most about this medal, and why I keep an eye on it. I know where it's at, and it just reminds me of the hard work I put in that day and how close it came. And you know what? It didn't happen that day, but this medal rack right here has most of my Boston qualifying medals hanging from it. So that tells you one thing. It did happen eventually. It didn't happen the way I wanted to on that day, but the following spring, maybe I'll talk about that one next time. Following spring, it happened. So, you know, like I said, if you have never ran Monumental Marathon, Indianapolis is the first weekend in November typically. Once in a while they've pushed it to, or first Saturday. Let me be clear on that. First Saturday of November. Once in a while they have pushed it to the second Saturday. It rarely happens, but the first Saturday of November is typically the Monumental Marathon in downtown Indianapolis. Great course. Hotels right there by the start-finish line. You basically just have to walk out of your hotel building and you are there. It is a beautiful course, and you will not regret coming to Monumental. So that's all I got for today. Monumental Marathon, Indianapolis, great race. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. If you ever ran it before, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on it. And we can have a good conversation about that. Until next time, I'm going to try and make this an every Monday event. So until next time, we will see you guys later. Hope you have a great week.